Good afternoon, everybody. This is your trusty WooFDriver here. You're part of the WooFDriver Unleashed group. That's a Facebook group. I'm going to be doing more of, and other more behind the scenes stuff and more training focused, etc. So it's really good to be a member there. Keep informed of more WooFDriver stuff. It's a little bit of WooFDriver overload, but it's also a lot of fun. Okay, so right now, come on guys, Chase, we're on a farm that's got about 500 acres. I'm going to try to... Now, I'm wearing the camera, so you're getting my perspective, but I'm also going to try to tilt it as we go. Come on, Jag! Waiting for Jag. He's doing a bathroom stop. And Jag's about the slowest dog in the East Coast when he wants to drink or do a bathroom stop. He just takes his time, which is all good. But I'm trying to keep the whole group together because, as you can see, Chase and Zorro, they want to get out there. They want to be in front because they're in hunting mode when we get to these locations. And, of course, I'm not going to let them hunt, but they could hunt. Come on, guys. I'll prevent them from getting involved as much as I can, which usually works out pretty well. But anything can happen out here. Come on, Jaggy. Good boy. Now, you would think, because Princess is the oldest, that she would be last, but, I mean, she's a good 5-6 years older than these guys, but actually, she gets right in with the game. Actually, sometimes you might see her be first. She's determined, and this competitive nature of hers, a lot of dogs are very competitive, which, if taken properly and managed properly, is a big benefit to their health. Because you can use that motivation to encourage them to get out there and exercise. Because that's what they need. Like, come on, Jag. Come on, good boy. He's just taking his good old time. So today, we're going to try to do 3 to 5 miles. I was explaining how I do this. I do it with a... Looks like I'm getting a little hot here, the volume. Testing 1, 2. Okay, I'm going to try to lower that a little bit, folks. Testing 1, 2. Yeah, that's a little better. Actually, I can move it a little up. Okay. Hopefully that works. Okay, so I get them out here strictly for exercise. There's Jag. You're finally getting a view of Jag. That's the Jagster. Actually, I got a video of him wearing a collar I was just editing from last week. It's so funny. We call him the Joker. Now, check him out. He'll run. Come on, Jay. Of course, he's going to mark it first. He's going to run along. Oh, usually runs inside the corn stalks. But he decided since he's on TV, he'll stay out in front since he's on Facebook here. So you can see... If you were with me last week, come on, Jack. Ah, there he goes. Can you see that? I'm trying to... Actually, he got ahead pretty quick. He's going to try to roll over. Come on, Jack. Look at him. That's a good boy, Jaggy. Good boy. Look at that. Oh, good boy. Before he takes down all the farmers' stalks of corn. Good boy. So if you were with us earlier, you would have heard me and seen me doing a little presentation on the Garmin. It's one, and it originally electronic made dog collars, phones, etc., so you can communicate with dogs. I just got hit with a grasshopper. And I'll give you a princess view right there. So she's taking her time now. It's all good. So Garmin bought Tritronics, and they make some of the best dog collars, GPS tracking collars that I know of, at least. Look at them inside. Come on, guys! Right there. And I like to let them do that. Wild oats. The more I can give them challenged, and they'll be. And what I mean by that, there you go, there's Sorrow. What I mean by that, to the full extent that they need to. So that's why people put them on sleds. 50 to 100 miles a day, these dogs could really do it. That's what they're bred for, really. So at least through the years, that's what they've been bred for. So we're not able to do 50 or 100 miles a day, whatever we do. And they're not, these particular dogs, though they have it in them to do it, now they're older, it's wouldn't be an option. But we have gone 30 miles before. It's few and far between. Conditions aren't right. I mean, you really need cold conditions, and you need to be on the right equipment. And I'm in Maryland. I don't get the snow and usually don't get the cold conditions, at least long enough to really get them in shape to do that. So I have to find other ways that are, for lack of a better description, family friendly, can go with a modern lifestyle. Jags, and by the way, he's in what I believe are the soybeans. I think it's Betsy's out there. She might correct me and tell me I don't think it's wheat. The last field I was on hay, and she corrected me. It was actually a winter wheat field, I believe, that they had cut. Jag, so he's in there, and he is the smallest of my huskies, so he's a little harder to detect when he's there, because he doesn't stand above. I just got to look for everything moving. And you can see Zara just drops down. Come on, Jag! There he is. And I can look on my GPS collar. Again, that's why I have it. Good girl, pretty princess. Princess just up, and you can see Jag right here, I think. If you can see him. The soybeans gotten a little lower. Now, at any given time, folks, a deer could come by. Even sometimes a nocturnal animal might be sick, or it might have young. It's getting a little late in the year for that, but might have small raccoons, baby raccoons, whatever you call them, possums, etc. We've run into that are just getting our way. They don't know better, and we run into them. So I'm always ready. The dogs know they're not supposed to chase them, but sometimes they'll show up in their path, and instinct will grab them, and they could do it. So I have to be ready to call them off of it if they do. And they hunt as a team or a pack, and it's really incredible to watch. So if you see Jag on my left soybean field, if you see him, what he would do is flush out the prey that's in there. So if he smells a scent of a groundhog, for instance, and he knows it's in there, and he will try to chase it out to his wolf pack mates that are in the clear field. So the animal would come out into the clear field, and one of them or all of them would grab it. That's how they hunt in the wild. So I've seen it happen, and it's not good. I don't like it. I don't like watching another animal get hurt. So that's why I'm ready to call them off at anything and watch how they maneuver themselves out here, so we don't come into contact with anything. If you hear me talking loud, come on, Jag! Good boy. If you're talking loud, that's usually, I'll say their names loud, etc., because I want to let other animals know. Usually wild animals are hip to anything that could be a predator to them, so they pick up on a scent. They're usually a few steps ahead of us, and they know. Here's a good pic of all the dogs together. And now Princess is in the back. You got Chase in front. You got Jag to the left, right here, marking the soybeans, letting them know that that was his area he just ran in. And Jag's coming around me. You don't hear an engine on here because there is none. Well, let me rephrase that. There's no gas-powered engine. This is all electric, the vehicle I use, and it gives me the opportunity of not disturbing wildlife, as well as being able to communicate with the dogs and hear anything that might be in the distance, possibly coming our way that I need to be aware of, such as farm equipment, other animals, people if they were trying to flag me down. Sometimes, once in a great while, we'll see somebody riding a horse here. Now, usually they're not supposed to unless they are part of this farm, related to the farmer in some way or have permission, which he has made me aware that no one really has permission unless it's his granddaughter. And I've ran into other people. Of course, I'm not the long arm of the law, so I'm not going to tell them, but he likes me to let him know if other people are out there. And that's strictly a liability issue. So, here's our... So we've been coming here, believe it or not, folks, for a good 6 years now. And this place, if I do a live broadcast from here next week, looks totally different week to week. And season to season, it's just, you would think you were on the other side of the world, possibly. Even when we get back in the woods, if the broadcast holds up, you get erosion from the waterways back there, and the actual direction, the actual path of the... And sometimes it's droughty and there's not much water. It's really shallow, of course, and you can access areas of the bank that you wouldn't normally go to. It's pretty interesting stuff. So dogs are just doing their thing right now. Just to let you know what kind of pace we're moving at, we are right now at just about 3 miles. So we're pretty much new into our adventure today, and everything's an adventure with these guys and gal, because as I said, you don't know what conditions you're going to run into, and you don't know how the dogs are going to feel. Like they might be really spunky. Usually if it's cool out, they are more spunky, so they're going to move at a really quick pace, and I'm usually battling to keep up with them, especially in more rugged terrain when we go to other places that we free range. A place that is way back in the woods that I call the mill, and you might have seen a bunch of my videos. I've been going there for quite a while too. That place, all bets are off on everything there. You don't know what you're going to run into, and you don't know anything what that place is going to look like. It gets so much muddy areas and deep mud trenches, and the stream literally could be going left one day and it's going to the right the next day. It's truly incredible. On my right there, a little behind, but she's doing great. Of course, if any of the dogs needed to, they could always get into the ATV. I could hold them all in here. I've got a bed, like a pickup style bed. Oh! And that's just a field mouse that he thinks he's got. Come on, guys! Come on! Boy, they always think they get field mice. I love watching them chase the field mice. They don't catch them. The air and jump, boom, 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 like a rabbit would do. It's pretty interesting. That's usually what's through here. Could be moles, but I've actually seen some of the mice. I've seen some of the mice at the different farms we go, drinking out of the streams. It's pretty cool. Again, Princess to my right, she's doing good. If she doesn't get this exercise in, her joint health and arthritis are really trying for her. The mobility I can get her, the more mobility. It was an eye out would probably be behind, because her wolf out here, and she was raised with them. They were puppies. 5, 6 years their senior. Be competitive along the lines that she still got it, let them know. So that drives her, and that really helps her keep fit. It's pretty cool. I love watching the canine behavior, especially the dynamics when they're around other dogs, themselves, each other. It's pretty interesting and getting into different situations. And I've become quite an expert with their reactions and behaviors. Now, that being said, I learn something new probably every day. If you tuned into me before you know anything about me, you know I'm a martial artist, and one of the big things in almost all the martial arts is you really don't open your mind and learn until you realize that you're almost always a student. And even though you can be teaching somebody and they can be a beginner, you can still learn from them something. So, and you do actually learn the most when you teach. So I feel like on these free ranging and live adventures, in some ways I'm teaching or sharing my knowledge, and it actually helps me learn too. It helps me get it out. Come on, princess! Princess, no! Good girl. No! Jag! Chase! Chase! Good boy. Good boy. And what I was doing there, I don't know if you saw it, but I was waiting and being a little abrupt with my words. Princess is a little hard of hearing because of her age, but also because of her dominant factor, her behavior, if you will. So sometimes I'm a little more abrupt and sharper words, so I'm sure she hears them, and also it tunes all of the dog's ears into me when I make an abrupt sound. So I'm doing that because they were competing, or starting to, for a scent they were on. And when they do that, you run the risk of them wanting to be dominant with each other. So they don't get in a little tiff. I just let them know I'm in the house and try call one of them over. Now, that being said, here's Chase. He's going to roll. That being said, they usually, in a wolf pack, that hierarchy, that's what I'm describing, will usually be managed naturally through them challenging each other. Sorry. So, yeah, this is broadcast through my phone, and sometimes it'll ring. So, but to get that hierarchy going right, you'll have tiffs in the wolf pack, of course, and they could really damage. The dogs usually won't kill each other, or the wolves, I should say, but they can damage each other pretty bad. So, and once that, usually that hierarchy's tested and proven, that I'm talking about the pack structure, who the ultimate alpha is, and who eats first, and who gets to the prey first, and all that good stuff. Once that is established, it's challenged occasionally as dogs get older or wolves get older. Other wolves want to challenge for that position, and that can happen with dogs. So, especially with this breed, because they are one of the closest to the wolf, and they have that independent, prey-driven personality and behaviors. That's Jag. And you can see, we just stroll along. Somebody wants to stop and roll and stretch, and there goes Zorro, folks. It's all good. And there's Chase behind him. So he's rolling now. There's Princess. She's to the right. At some point or another, they'll all stop and roll. And normally they do that if they find something foul to roll in, because something that's really smells poignant, usually bad. Of course, we're not getting any colognes out here or perfumes. They do that because it'll disguise their odor. So if they were hunting in the wild, it's instinctual to them, because when they would hunt in the wild, wolves and wild dogs, they would disguise their scent so prey wouldn't be as hip to knowing it was them when they were in the area, and might drop its guard or not scram. If they have their regular dog or wolf scent, they say, potential prey would say, oh yeah, there's a potential predator around, I better get out of here, hightail it out. So that's why they do that. The other reason they roll is to get the fur off them. That's how they scratch their back and agitate fur that could, in the wild, be matted up in them. They're double-coated dogs. So as they shed that undercoat, it gets trapped. If it's not properly maintained, of course, they're domesticated now. So hopefully people take care of them and brush it out, because that's what helps their coat breathe in the summer. Come on, Jag! So Jag just said, oh, I'm going to stay back here. But he's ready to go. He didn't need a rest. Now, Jag's shortcutting me. And what I mean by that is, let me see if I can turn the camera around. You see him back there? There he goes. Right there. Now, he's doing that because he knows I'm going to go that way. But I don't always go that way, because sometimes I'll mess with them. Now, if I was training these dogs to be off leash, I wouldn't go that way. I wouldn't let him do that. Or I would let him do that, and I would go the other way. And to keep him more alert to me, because his attention, because he did that, changed from being on me. See, he stopped and he's waiting for me out there to see maybe WooFDriver is going to go straight and not come back around, because that was to the left if you're looking on the camera now, and now I'm on the other side. This was a little bit of a loop, if you will, but this accesses another part of the farm. So Jag, when you teach them to do anything, you have to be alpha, and by you being alpha, their attention is always on you. Doesn't mean they're glued to you like they're healing, like a dog would heel on the side of you right next to you, but it means that most of their attention, they're ready for a command, and they're alert to what you're going to say and what direction you're going to go in. Once a dog thinks he can start second guessing you by shortcutting you, or say, oh yeah, he's going to go this way, I'm going there, I don't have to look at him, then he's anticipating your next move, and not, therefore, all the attention that should be devoted to you is not. So it's pretty interesting. It's how we train them. And that's why if you're teaching a dog to heel on a leash, you don't look at the dog. You keep your attention actually away, and you make abrupt turns. So the dog doesn't want to feel the tug of the lead. He wants to, or she wants to, you want them to put all their attention on you, so they don't feel that tug. They're right next to you. You can actually feel them on your leg. So just a quick training tip there. So this part of the farm, there's woods to my right. And unfortunately, if there's sick animals that don't make it, that are deceased, it becomes a graveyard back there. So have to be careful going past there too. There's a lot of vultures, and animals will come back and eat the carcasses. Sorry if I sound a little abrasive by saying that, but that's life here on the farm. Come on, guys! And that's why they're more likely to find bones around here. The vultures and other animals will take with them part of the carcass, eat the meat, and sometimes leave the bone out here. So they'll find them. And I will not let my dogs take it with them, or even really have access to it. They might pick it up in their mouth for a second, but I'll instruct them to leave it behind, because it can become a point of contention between all of them, as well as it takes away from our free ranging time. And it would only be one getting a bone, and so they all get their treats at home. We don't need to get them out here. Come on, Zorro! Zorro! Now, do you see how I said his name twice, and he stopped what he was doing and sort of came my way? You can see he's working his way over. And I'm giving him leniency. I'm not correcting him more with my voice. I'm just 2 times, 3 times, whatever it was more than enough. Because I don't want to glue him to the side of the ATV, if you know what I'm saying. I want him to be able to enjoy all he can, but I wanted him to stay off of that wooded area, off the edge of the woods, in case there are any of those bones or remnants of carcasses I talked about. So these are little underwater springs that fill these ditches, if you will, so it's safe for them to drink out of. And I'm sorry, I can't monitor the comments because the way I'm broadcasting, and again, it's hard. There's no one with me out here, so I can't. You can see Princess right now grabbing a drink. I can't give the reins over to anybody else. No pun intended there. Now we're going back into the woods where there's a nice stream back there, depending on what it looks like today. So guys, we're going to see if we can do a run through these fields. Now this looks like soybean 2 to the left of me. Betsy, if you're out there, you might correct me, but I think that's what it is. Predominantly what they grow here is corn, soybeans, and winter wheat. Come on guys! Come on! Princess! Come on! Good boys and good girls. Just watching the interaction with Princess and Chase because they're the most likely to getting a little spat here. Come on, guys, here. You can see to my left. They're in the field. Come on, here, here. Jag. Good boy. See what I said? His name. He got in the right direction. Good boy, Chase. And again, little leniency. He wants to go that way through the soybean field. I'm going to let him do that. But I didn't want him going to the left because I can't see in that field, obviously. And if there's little critters, I don't want him catching up with them. But don't be surprised, folks. I mean, they could show up and the dogs can grab them real quickly. And they grab them to, I know I'm going to be a little rough here, but they grab them to break their neck. They shake them. Kind of like they do to stuffed animals. A lot of people say, oh, my dog would never do that. And I'll tell them, have you seen your dog with a stuffed animal, what it does? Yeah, it shakes it. It's because it's simulating what it would do in the wild. That's their necks. And the prey would would die, obviously. Come on, guys. And then if they were starving dogs, if they were out in the wild, they would eat it. But they don't do that because they get dog food, which they prefer. There's Zorro. He looks like a wolf out there in that pose. Come on. So I got Princess and Jag behind me, and that's usually the case. Well, I call them the wheel dogs when we're on the sled because they're the rear dogs. The wheel dogs are the rear dogs of a sled dog team. And the lead dog is usually the one you give the commands to. You only need one dog. Only one dog on a real sled dog team needs to know sled dog commands because he goes to the left or to the right, and the whole team has to go that way. Follows that way. They're trained to. That way you don't have to teach each of them. Now these guys all know the commands pretty well, and I might even use them out here if I want them to go to the right or to the left. Or if I want them to go easy, if I want them to stop. And I'm teaching them some additional commands too. When we're on my sled on wheels, like we were on 2 days ago, I teach them to back up. They actually turn themselves around and back up with the equipment because my bikes that house 2 people are so long that they need to, I usually can't do a 3-point turn. It's usually a 20-point turn, and it's backing up and going forward, etc. So you can see this field is wide open, and this looks like a hay field here. So it's just like grass, and I won't damage it by driving over it. Come on, guys. Here. Zorro. Zorro. No. Come on, good boy. Now he wants to go to the right. Now, when they see stuff sticking out, like I see some... Jag. Jag. Good boy. Zorro. I don't know if you saw them, but they turned. Now I heard something down there which sounded like an animal sound, possibly an owl. There are coyotes here. I've run into them. Ran into, usually in the winter when everything is more barren and it's open. You can see them. They're usually disguising themselves pretty good during the day. They're not a threat to us. These dogs, this is a pack of dogs. Now coyotes, they claim travel in packs. I have one time seen them in a pack formation. Jag! Jag! Now, Jag is meandering that way because he knows he's shortcutting me again. And Jag is going to always take the path of least resistance. Almost all dogs do, but he does especially. I'm going to try to see if I can show you Princess. Do you see her behind me? She's rolling. So she's right keeping up with us. And what I'll do is I'm going to let Jag know that I'm going to give him an audio tone. You hear that? Yeah, no, he's... Just because I didn't want him to... I don't want to... If you keep saying the same command 100 times, it means less and less. So I want to enforce that with a little bit of an audio tone because he's more sensitive to that. He's going to... that's usually my second mode of recalling them if they wouldn't listen as well as I would like them to. Now he's listening to me, but he's over too far that I don't want him to deviate anymore into that field. And if there was an animal act there, he would be tempted to, and it would take me a little more to get him to get his attention to me. So that's why, as you can see, we're coming, and now you can see everybody there. Easy, guys. I'm gonna talk loud because there's a lot of brush here and a lot of areas that animals can hide. And I don't like to be, I like to be loud, but I'm going to contradict myself. Hey, here. No. Jag and Chase. Good boys. Good boys. No's a bad word. Ooh. That's why they turned around. Here comes the pretty princess. So, I don't want to be too loud because there's another farm next door and I don't want them to think something's wrong. Jag, here. Jag. Here, here. Good boy. Come on, Jag. Now I'm watching him on the GPS screen. We hear a siren next door. Jag. Here, here. A weird sound, but it's a siren. Here comes Jag. See what I mean by getting in the field? Now, I wouldn't be able to let him do that at all if it wasn't for the GPS collar. He's coming out of it now. Good boy, Salo. Good boy, Jaggy. It's the doing it his way. Now, you can see Princess is not sitting down. One of the reasons is because Jag did, because she wants to stay limber, wants to stay mobile, so she doesn't have to get back up because it's more work for her because of her age. But she might lay down. I'm giving them all a little breather here. And I'm just going to check, folks. Want to make sure we are, in fact, online and streaming. Trying to give you a view of everything. So it's, as I said, not really hot, it's just humid. Stay. I want to make sure the camera's working here. Stay, good boy. It might be because the battery's not in it. Well, the battery's in it, but the battery's not charged, I should say. And that could be operator error. Operator is me. So I'm going to just check here for a minute if you don't mind. I want to make sure I'm online with you and if I can field any questions. The way I'm broadcasting, I can't see all the questions at one time. So, there's Chase. By the way, he's to the right. My other three dogs are there. And you can see Princess is still. Hope I'm live, but I don't think I am. Stay, guys. Princess?